Hi there, Robin here from Expert On, and today we're going to be doing some Q&As. We're going to be answering some questions. We're going to be looking at the comments, and we're going to try and help out some folks and see where we can get to. We're also going to talk about new product in the pipe that's coming into the showroom. So if we start first, we'll have some pop-up pictures. So we are going to be talking about BlastKing first, which is the brand that we've decided to carry here in Canada. It's a big deal because this is a company who basically exists in the US, down in Florida to be exact. After sampling the KXD2 series speaker about 6 months ago and talking about it an awful lot, trying it out, we've realized that it's a pretty solid product. And in comparisons, it ranks really well with a lot of the other products in the price point. So normally you'd have to spend more money from other brands to get that kind of product. We're also going to be carrying their subwoofers and their Blade series here in Canada as well. So in the subwoofers, right now we've got the BPS 15.2. They sent us that as a sample, and I'm telling you now, we are going to be buying that. Also in the 18-inch, that's 1,000 watts or 1,200 watts, I think is the 18-inch. So incredibly powerful and quite the bargain if you're looking for a heavy, powerful subwoofer to use and you don't want to spend $1,500 or $1,200 for one. This is going to be an amazing video when we do it. Also, we're going to be carrying their Blade series, which is, that one's going to be great because the Blade series, I have a look at it here. The reason why it's called Blade is the way the amp's set up on the back, which I think is really different from what a lot of other people do. And those are going to be great videos. Those are 1,000-watt speakers, and those are moderate numbers. I mean, because their RMS, their amp plate is 800 watts. We'll get to the dividing numbers and all that when we do the video, but we've been pounding those speakers away here, and they're just awesome. We also brought in one of their line arrays, which is the PYLE 12. Again, 1,200 watt line array, basically half the price of anything it's going to compete with. So another big plus. We also brought, they actually sent us, so is their microphones, because we have a lot of microphones, wireless mics, and the rep down there is kind of like smart. He's like, you know what, we'll just send him a sample and see what he thinks. So the MHU 402, which based on the price I thought, oh, well, it's just going to be another one. No, this was a pretty impressive piece of hardware. It's not plastic bodied, it's an aluminum bodied microphone with a dynamic head that's actually removable, which was really cool. So there's that, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. They do cables and stuff. We're going to have this in our tips and tricks. We're going to be bringing in more of this type of product from them as well, which is basically a cable. It's a combo set plus other products as well. So this way, one cable is going to have your power cord and your actual line level connection to your powered speaker. So we'll talk about all of that. But now, if I do this right, our questions are going to have links up on top right above my head here, and that link is going to be for the video that we're going to be talking about. So let's get started. One of them, right off the hop, we're going to start with the latest ones and work our way back. CDD, making a comment about the Xvive U4 wireless in-ear system, and it's pretty straightforward. It has to do with the cable that comes with it, and the charging cable. He's not critiquing the product. He's critiquing the cable being used. The cable being used is a mini USB cable, and he's right. I mean, why would somebody still use a mini USB cable on a brand new product? I see minis and micros being used all the time. You'd think they'd spend the extra nickel or dime or whatever it really costs to put a USB-C connector on it. I think that companies, even like Alto, the very popular Bluetooth Total that they sell tons of them. It comes with a micro. Like, I know, you know, it's a design in the product. I know they'd have to change the molding and all that, but I mean, come on. It's 2020 now, right? Should at least have a micro, but if you're gonna go that far, throw a C on the product. So yes, I'd have to agree. You know, be nice to see, you know, standard, you know, we're there, USB-C. Just change the product. You don't have to tell anybody you did it, just make it better. Anyways, so next question. Next question is from Gunny. Now, should have a link up here above for this. The MPM 3000 condenser style microphone is his question in reference to. Let's have a picture of that here. What's the pop filter like? Is it metal mesh? And you know what? I have that over there. I did check it. It did look like metal mesh. It's very similar to what they put on the 2000. I am going to say it's metal mesh, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's very thin, of course, but it's just supposed to break up and diffuse your voice. Basically the air puffing out of your mouth when you blow into it to sing or talk, and it diffuses that. And it does a good job. Of course, some people like thicker, and I do. More layers. Thinner, more layers is my way of going about it. So, I mean, that to me is a good thing. So, but it does work, and it's better with it than without it, that's for sure. So the next question is from Ed, and it has to do with the U4 wireless in-ear monitors. That's what we're talking about. So the question is, how effective are these monitors for singers? How much will they help smooth from sound coming from the main speakers or amplifier on the stage? I'm thinking of ear protection here as well. Now, that's all good questions. The U4, you got to buy yourself some half-decent in-ear monitors. You know, they're going to cost you around 100 to whatever you want to spend. It's unlimited when it comes to in-ear monitors. And yes, they do act like earplugs because of the design. Blocks almost everything out. If you see performers where the actual in-ear monitors go bad on them, something, you know, battery fails or something like that, or they're out of sync, you have to pull it out because they can't hear anything. So if you're looking to preserve your ears, definitely in-ear monitors are better than stage monitors. So, and quality and performance is going to depend on what you put in your ear. So there you go. Again, if you want the link for that video, it should be right on top of my head right now. So now we'll go on to the next question. Next question's from Papa, and not my Papa. That's his name. It's about the Alto TX208, and he's basically making a comment. Outstanding speaker. Check out my outdoor demo of 2 each. And I don't have a link here for that, so I can't really check that out. So include the link. I'm happy to look at it. Setup's awesome. This really, it's a speaker that, you know, as I said in the video, link's up here. If you're looking for a speaker for at home, for practice, rehearsal space, garage band stuff, that sort of thing, even if you're going to just have small place somewhere like in a church or a small hall rec room sort of thing, you know, not too big, not too over the top. If you're doing retirement homes and stuff like that, where the volume level doesn't have to be extraordinary. These are really good speakers. They're reliable, they're dependable. You're not paying for the Git gadgets that you get off a lot of consumer speakers. So, yeah, send me the link, and I'll have a look at it. If you have a video of it, I'm happy to look at it. Next question. Next question is in regards to the TX212 subwoofer from Alto. Very nice subwoofer, very popular subwoofer, and I'll have the link up here again, just to plug that video up on top if you haven't seen it yet. And this is from Stefan. Stefan, I'm curious, so would this Alto subwoofer be usable in a home theater surround sound system? Stefan, absolutely yes. You are going to have to buy an XLR to RCA adapter for it, because you got to accommodate. It's going to do a phenomenal job. It's a great way to not have to spend 3 times as much for a big retail brand consumer product from, you know, a Best Buy or whatever type of store you go to. But remember, there is one feature it doesn't have. It doesn't have auto sleep on it. So it's not going to go to auto standby. So you do have to have some way to turn it off and on. You may have to get a smart plug, so this way when you turn on your home system, you can turn on your subwoofer when you want it on easily from your phone or something like that. But get a smart plug probably for it. So, but I think it's make an excellent home theater sub. So next question is from 310 SoCal, and it's in reference to this video here. And his question is, help, help, help. Anyone? So I'll help you. What about the BlastKing KXD, a 2nd generation 12-inch A's? Looking to start doing some DJing. He goes on and talks about, you know, he'd like the pair of 12-inch, and he's looking at around 150 guests for backyards, house parties, that sort of stuff. And he gives a little bit of budget, which is around $500 each, blah, blah, blah. But this is the important part. Wants to know, how does this compare to some of the other? Now, we just started buying into this. Now stock's a little tight, which is why we didn't get the 12-inch in with this shipment. But BlastKing is going to do an amazing job. It is heavy. Just remember that if you get a chance to go down and take a look at them and listen to them especially, you're going to get pretty much blown away by the speakers. I do recommend this speaker if you're going to hook it up with a controller, that maybe you have a mixer afterwards, because it's a lot of power in a very, very powerful driver that's inside of it. We're going to try and get samples of just the drivers to show how much of a difference these drivers are, because BlastKing is very much like a JBL. They're a speaker manufacturer. You can buy their speakers. They're that impressive. They sell for a couple of $100 just the drivers on their own. They're monstrous. Put a picture of it up here. It's quite impressive stuff, which is really what drives these systems. That and the amp plate they put on. So they do a really good job on both parts. So they're extremely loud, extremely powerful. They're half the price of what they should be if they were a big brand name. If they were a big brand name that was very well represented all over the place, they'd be, dealers would want to sell them for more. So they're kind of a bargain. So definitely, if you get a chance to go take a listen to them, go ahead. If not, you're just going off what do I think? I think they're really good. I think you probably buy them, and then down the road maybe buy a subwoofer or two. That'll be really good to add on. It's always better to have subs. Doesn't matter what anybody says. That's my opinion. Adding a sub or two subs allows you to play at a volume level that people are happy, but still impress them with the bottom end. There you go. Hope that helps. Next question is from Don, the TV Vlogs. And his question is on the ZMX 122FX audio mixer from Alto. And we'll have it up here. Can you use this for recording? Well, you can, but you'd have to get cables and stuff like that. If you want one that has a sound card in it, there's lots of options. You can look at some of the new Mackie Pro FX version 3. They have USB. They do an awful lot of stuff on them. If you're buying from Alto, you'd have to get into the Live series. That has USB on it. And also, there's a Lesis. Lesis has a real popular one. The Multimix 8, I think is what it's called. That one's real popular. So have a look at those. We'll add links for that down below, but we've got videos on all those as well. So we'll go on from there. Lenny Hamilton. Lenny Hamilton is asking questions on the first video, which is the ES210MX BLU. Which also comes with an SD pack, which we are currently sold out of. So we'll have the link up here for the video that we did on that. Are you selling any of these speakers? Well, we sell a ton of them to the point that we're sold out, and we have more coming in. If you're looking at this speaker for a party speaker, package, something like that for home, that sort of thing, and there's PYLE just came out with a version their own. I'll throw a picture of it up here. Now, the only drawback with the PYLE is it does have lights on the speakers, so where it does have a 5-band graphic EQ and is a little bit louder, I definitely think so, and it has more echo and effects on it, that kind of thing. Technically speaking, probably around the same price range. That one we have in stock right now, but remember it has flashy lights on it and you can't turn those off. So if you actually have to use it for work and presentation, that sort of stuff, maybe not. But if you're buying it for fun and entertainment, and you're not going for crazy volume or crazy bass, that one's a pretty good option. So Lenny, I hope that helps. Yes, we do sell it. Unfortunately, we're sold out. We do have an option for an alternative. And by the way, you can make the lights stop flashing if you don't want them to flash. You just have to open it up and unplug it. All right, on to the next question. Questions from ZEVAS. Now, if I'm pronouncing it right, great. I doubt I am. It says ZAVAS. Does this work for drum set mics? Just making sure. It's in reference, of course, to what we have up here, which is the Mackie Pro FX 16 V3. It's like the last video we did, and I got a link for it up here. This mixer is pretty darn impressive, and absolutely yes, you can use it for a drum set, either a 5 or a 7 mic setup. If you have electric drums, for sure, you can just plug it into one of the last channels on it. Let's say, like, I don't know, 13, 14, if that was an actual number up there. Anyways, either way, you can definitely use it for your drum set and take advantage of those buses, so you can group your drum set once you balance it off into, let's say, the bus 1 and 2, and then leave everybody else in bus 3 and 4. So that's actually a very cool thing to have with a mixer that size. So next question is from Michelle, and it's asking in reference to the video we did on the Xvive U3 wireless XLR line adapters for your microphones or line input. So that's what we're talking about. That's the link to the video we did. It was a very popular video, and basically he's asking, how's the battery life? Can it be connected while in use if they have to, in case the internal battery goes bad for some reason? Now, yes, and yes, it could happen, I guess. It's a lithium battery, and eventually it could go bad. There is another video out there of a guy who tears everything apart. He just checks everything out from the inside out. So, you know, the battery is there, it's inside. Battery eventually will go bad, and yes, you can use it while it's being plugged in. So if you need to power it up all the time, it'd be a little odd unless it's being used as a wireless XLR cable versus a wireless microphone setup. And then yes, you can just power it up and it'll turn the battery into basically a capacitor if the battery was like not holding the charge anymore. So you can always do that. That is a good point and a good statement. And you probably, if you get the model number off the battery, you probably get a replacement battery for it eventually too. And the last question from today is from Corey. And he's asked me about the moving headlights I did a video for a while back ago. And here's a picture of them. They're cool lights. They're par lights. I wouldn't buy one. I'd always buy them in a set. 2, 4 would be best. And he's asked me if it's still a good way to go now in 2020. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say buy them all together. If you want 4, buy them as a set. You either buy them from like a place like us who has them, or you buy them from an Amazon, which we'll have links for, of course, to our affiliate page with them. And it's great. You buy a bunch of them, you follow the videos, you don't need XLR cables, and there's no reason why it's not still a good idea. The price points are always awesome on them, and they put on a really nice show. We did a bar not too long ago. We have 4 of them set up on a truss, along with a whole bunch of other lights, and it looks very impressive. So, is it worthwhile getting? Absolutely. If that's something you'd like to get, I wish I had 4 of them set up here all the time. I think it would be a great display. So if you made it this far into the video and I've answered your questions, that's awesome. And if I haven't, please re-ask the question. I did fall way behind on doing Q&As. And at the same time, if you subscribed, I want to say thank you very much. I'm saying that first. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. But the odds are, if you're watching this video, you probably subscribe. If you want to find out quicker when my videos come out, that's what the bell button's for. Look at me doing all the proper plugs. And remember to always hit that like button, because it's YouTube. Likes are very important. So see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.